Have you ever seen a computer so small it could fit right in your pocket, but so powerful it could totally unlock a kid's imagination? Well, that's the BBC Microbit. And it's not just a cool piece of tech. It's really a whole mission to turn kids from people who just use technology into people who create it. So how does this tiny little device plan on starting a revolution in education? Let's dive in. In a world that's just swimming in technology, how do we make sure the next generation actually gets it? This philosophy from the Suxa Tech Academy really nails the challenge. It's not about teaching a few random coding tricks here and there. It's about building a really solid foundation right from the very beginning to give kids the right start for a digital future. And yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? We are surrounded by apps, by games, by endless scrolling. So how do we flip that switch? How do we get kids to go from just passively consuming all this stuff to actively creating it? What kind of tools can we give them to not just use tech, but to build with it, to innovate, and to solve actual problems? Well, here is a fantastic answer to that question. Say hello to the BBC Microbit. It's a pocket-sized computer, and it was designed from the ground up to be the perfect first step into the world of coding and electronics. It's all about making creativity with technology accessible to absolutely everyone. Okay, so what makes this thing so clever is that it's basically a complete invention kit right out of the box. You're not just looking at some lights and buttons here. No. You're looking at a little screen for telling stories, a game controller, and a tiny scientist toolkit all in one. It can sense motion, light, even temperature, and it can talk wirelessly to other devices. All these tools are just sitting there waiting for a spark of imagination. And that right there is the most important part. This isn't just a random collection of hardware. The Microbit Educational Foundation has a super clear mission: to inspire every single child to create their best digital future. Every feature on that little board was put there to serve that one powerful goal. But of course, a box of tools isn't much good if you don't know how to use it. So how do you actually tell this little computer what to do? Well, this is where the real genius of the Microbit comes in. It's designed to make coding feel less like homework and more like, well, playing. It just breaks down all those barriers for total beginners. The platform gives you two brilliant ways to learn. You can start with something called Microsoft MakeCode, which is this visual editor where you literally just snap code blocks together like Legos. It's so intuitive. But then, as you get more confident, you can smoothly move over to Python, which is a powerful text-based language that real professionals use. That built-in learning path is a huge part of its success. And getting your very first program running is just a few clicks away. I mean, look at this. To create a beating heart animation, you're not memorizing complicated commands. You're just thinking logically. Show a big heart. Wait a second. Show a small heart. Wait a second. And just do that forever. This visual way of doing things gives you an instant, super satisfying result, and it shows you right away that you can make this thing come to life. And getting that code from your computer onto the actual device? Just as easy. You plug it in with a USB cable, and it shows up on your computer just like a normal flash drive. You just drag and drop your program file onto it. That's it. Seriously, the Microbit immediately starts running your code. So once you've got the hang of the basics, like making a beating heart, that's when the real fun starts. The possibilities for what you can build are, well, they're practically endless. You can make everything from simple little games to tools that could have a real impact on the world. So what kind of stuff can you build? How about an emotion badge that shows people how you're feeling? Or a step counter you can attach to your shoe? You could build a dice game that you actually shake to roll, or even use the radio feature to make a teleporting duck that mysteriously hops from one person's Microbit to another. Every single project teaches you something new in a really fun, hands-on way. But it's not all fun and games. This is where the Microbit becomes a tool for making a real difference. And projects that are tied to things like the UN's global goals, students don't just learn about huge problems like the threats to sea turtles. They're actually empowered to brainstorm, design, and build real devices that could one day be part of the solution. And really, that's the whole point. The Microbit isn't supposed to be the end of the story. It's the perfect first step on a much longer and way more exciting journey into the world of technology. You can really see how it becomes the perfect launchpad for a longer journey. A lot of educational programs will use the Microbit to spark that initial curiosity.
And once that fire is lit, kids are ready to move on to more complex things, like Arduino for building robots, and then eventually they're ready to tackle the big frontiers, like AI and cybersecurity. It all starts with that first amazing confidence-building success.
And get this, the journey doesn't even stop with the board itself. Think of the microbit as the brain for a much bigger creation. You can connect it to a whole universe of external sensors. Want to build a smart garden that waters itself? Just add a soil moisture sensor. Want to build a tracker for your bike? Plug in a GPS module. The possibilities for what you can invent are just truly endless. So, we come all the way back to this. A simple little piece of hardware, but it's designed with an incredibly powerful and focused mission. It's not just about teaching code. It's about giving kids a tool that inspires confidence, creativity, and the belief that they can actually shape the digital world around them. Which leaves us with this one last thought. The microbit really proves that sometimes the smallest tools can unlock the absolute biggest ideas. When you put the power to create directly into the hands of the next generation, the real question isn't what can they build, it's what world will they build.